The president of the United States, Donald John Trump, may be more hated in his home state of New York than the San Antonio Spurs. Because what are we talking about here? Let's take a look here. Trump's net approval rating in New York State. You go back to January 2025. It was, not so great, but not so terrible. 5 points underwater. But look at where he's fallen to now. He is now 30 points underwater on the net approval rating in his home state of New York. A massive drop-off we have seen in his popularity in the Empire State.
And it's interesting, when you dig into some of these numbers, there were some groups, even in this very liberal state, that the president was doing well with.
Yeah, okay. A lot of the people who might be getting screwed tonight, especially with that watch party getting canceled, are working class New Yorkers. And those are the voters who have turned most against the president of the United States. Okay, Trump's approval rating in New York State with incomes under $50,000. Back in January 2025, he was actually slightly above water, 1 point above water. But hey, 1 point above water is better than 1 point below water. But look at where he is now. A dramatic decline. My goodness gracious. Right down there into the Hudson River. He's now 36 points underwater, nearly a 40-point move against the president of the United States with working class New Yorkers, those with incomes under $50,000. And that is matching what we're seeing nationwide as well. And that is the president of the United States. Disproportionately, he is losing support among working class Americans, and he's disproportionately losing support among working class New Yorkers.
This is a pretty good number for January 25.
Yeah.
This isn't.
No.
It's dropped a lot.
One is good, one is really bad.
Okay, so New York's a big state with a lot of congressional districts, including a few swing races here. How are the congressional elections looking in this state?
Yeah, okay, so you go back 8 years ago, New York was a very bad place for Republicans in the midterm elections during Trump's first midterm election. You look at the generic ballot in June of 2018, Democrats were ahead of it by 15 points in the Empire State. Look at where it is now. Democrats are even doing better than they were doing 8 years ago at this point. They were ahead by 19 points right now. And this 15-point, this led to a 3-seat loss for Republicans as Democrats went on to gain the majority. Now, there are not as many competitive races this time around, but Mike Lawler up in the Hudson Valley has to be looking at a number like this and has to be shivering, because it turns out what happens at the top of the ballot with Donald John Trump manages oftentimes to find its way to down ballot races. And I think Mike Lawler sees this and says, nah, I'm not so hot to trot. And you talk about the governor's race as well at the top of the ticket. This is another thing that may drain Republicans as well. Chance that Democrats win the 2026 gov race, according to Kalshi, it was 74% back at the beginning of Trump's second term. Look at where it is now. Kathy Hochul, the Democrat, sky high, 91%. These are the types of numbers that really should make Republicans quite worried in Donald John Trump's home state, where, as I said at the top, he may be the only thing that's more hated in New York than the San Antonio Spurs.
With us now, sports commentator Bomani Jones. He's the host of The Right Time with Bomani Jones podcast. Good to see you this morning. How do you think fans feel about this, having to arrive 2 hours before the game to get in because the president's going to be there?
Well, I think that's the part that will probably cause people more problems, regardless of who the person is, regardless of what the reason is, right? Like, you're going to need to get there early. On the bright side, I think that people who had tickets to this game would want to be there early. This is the most anticipated basketball game in this city in literally 56 years. So, I mean, people were going to be there probably as early as they could. It's just going to be an increased hassle and inconvenience.
I was in Connecticut, northern Connecticut yesterday, out on the streets, and people were yelling, "Go Knicks." Like out of nowhere, like out of context, they were concerned about that. It's a huge, huge deal around here. Bomani, I will say, though, that given how important this is to people, there are mixed feelings about the president being there and throwing that political element into it. I did speak to House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries about this. He is a native New Yorker. Listen to what he said.
I'm not sure it's going to be a good reception for him, but why does Donald Trump always have to ruin a good thing? Like, literally, the Knicks haven't been in the NBA Finals for 27 years. The city is trying to celebrate this. We've embraced this team, and this guy has to inject himself. I mean, come on, seriously, give us a break. Why doesn't this guy just focus on trying to improve the quality of life of the American people? Because the Trump economy has been a disaster.
So what about the mixture, or the injection, as he says, of politics into sports, Bomani?
No, this isn't about the injection of politics into sports. This is about the injection of Trump into sports. If this were just about any other president, I don't think it would go over the way that it would. This is specifically about this man whose relationship with his hometown is fraught, I think would be a fair thing to point out. But in this time, in this moment with this guy, ain't nobody really trying to hear this. Like, what was the most surprising thing about it to me is that Trump normally turns up at like college football games, places that for him are home games. This is not a home game, no matter where he's from. This is an away game. I am surprised that this is something that he wants to do because he typically thrives on positive affirmation, and he ain't going to get none of that on Madison Square Garden, like not a bit.
It's an interesting take. This is not a home game for the president, despite being from New York. But Monty Jones, great to see you. Thanks for sticking around.
With the New York Knicks about to host their first NBA Finals game since 1999, the city preparing for another historic moment. The first sitting US president to attend an NBA Finals game. CNN's Gloria Pazmino filed this report.
Well, it's going to look very different outside Madison Square Garden on Monday night, and that's because this area is going to be closed off to traffic and to pedestrians. So we're not going to see the usual scenes of celebration and fans gathering at the game that we have been seeing in the last few games. And that's because the watch party has officially been canceled. The reason for that is the presidential visit. Trump is expected to attend Monday night's game, and that means there's going to be intensive security protocols going into the event. For anyone who is attending this game, they're being asked to arrive at least 2 hours early. They will have to go through double layers of security, essentially airport-style security. So arrive early, arrive prepared, and just know that this area is going to be very hard to access unless you have tickets to attend the game. The fact that the watch party is canceled, surely a disappointment for a lot of fans, for a lot of Knicks fans who have been relying on the watch party to watch the games and attend the celebrations. Take a listen.
Personally, I think it's kind of a shame. I really would like it, because we've been waiting for this for like how long? And, a lot of people can't afford to get into the game. I'm one of those people. So I was actually looking forward to going to one of these watch parties.
This is a monumental day in New York City, and you're going to cancel it. It's all right. We're going to find a way, okay? If you guys know real New Yorkers, we're going to find a way.
And, like he could say he's a native New Yorker, but he doesn't live here, and he's kind of pooped on us for a while. And, so I think this is our time, and he's distracting from our time.
We don't need that negativity. We need nothing but positive vibes.
That was so un-New York to clean that word up and say poop.
It was very nice of him
to say. It was very nice.
So that we could put it on television. But, there is no area in New York like being outside of Madison Square Garden after a Knicks game, never mind a finals game. As you said, the atmosphere in the city for the past few days has been just electric. People are so excited. I would even say that everyone is being a little bit nicer. We're all a little bit happier. We're being kinder to each other. But there was a lot of folks that I spoke to yesterday who were not so thrilled that the president's going to be in town for this one, because it's going to mean, there's going to be this massive security presence. The watch party's been canceled for tonight, so people who cannot get into the garden can go to the watch party. There'll be other watch parties around the city, but I do think that, it's going to be a very different kind of vibe inside the garden. The energy, I think, will be on the game, on the Knicks. I think that's what true Knicks fans will be focused on. A lot of New Yorkers will be focused on, and we'll see what reception the president gets in that arena tonight. He is a New Yorker, but he is not a very popular or beloved New Yorker.
Well, and you can feel it. I mean, we're not that far from Madison Square Garden right now. You can already feel not just the excitement, but the security intensifying, understandably. He's the president of the United States. He's not the only high-profile political figure who's going. The mayor of New York City is going. Listen to what Zohran Mamdani said this morning.
I bought my tickets for nearly $1,000 from Madison Square Garden. I'll be going to tonight's Game 3, and I'll be standing for the duration of the game.
Standing room only, $1,000.
It's incredible. And I was on Instagram earlier, and there were reels that came upon my feed that were encouraging people how to boo inside of this. This is his hometown, so I think Madison Square is going to be absolutely lit tonight as both a sporting event and a political event.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm just excited to be on TV talking about sports. This is about time. No, I mean, I have two kids, and my older son was sorting through his M&Ms this weekend and pulling out the blue and the orange. It's like, these are Knicks colors, and we're making Sundays. So even if he's not a Knicks fan growing up, he's becoming one all of a sudden.
And just going back to Donald Trump, we mentioned that he is a Knicks fan and has been, and we went into the vault and found some photos of the president here back. Wait, is that Elliot Gould with Marla Maples? There you see he's with Melania, Howard Stern, Bill O'Reilly. I also want to go even further. If we go back to 1999, yep, that's President Trump, or then just Donald Trump with JFK Jr.
I mean, look, this is going to be an iconic night. That was an iconic night. The last time that the Knicks were in the finals, 1999. The Knicks draw some of the biggest celebrities in New York. Spike Lee has been going to these games for longer than I've been alive, waiting for the big one. He might finally get it. This is as New York as it gets. And I think, to your point about sports and politics, I think, in this time that we're living in, we see that often sports can become extremely political, and I think we might see some of that on display tonight because it is the Garden, because it is New York, and people's emotions are running high about the president's visit, about the game, and about where we are right now.